Today, let's get to listen to stories of triumph amidst failures, courage despite fear, strength through weakness, and even the occasional hopeful cheer from personal punny experiences. I am your host, RKaye, and this is the BetterU podcast. What is up, fam? Welcome to another episode of the BetterU podcast. Coach RKaye here, and thank you very much for joining me in today's show. Now, from the previous episodes that we've had, we have answered a few, or quite a lot, of frequently asked questions that may have been actually something that you yourself have asked or maybe Googled on the internet. So today, we will be, again, diving into the question of whether weight is actually something that we should all be so focused about, all right? But yeah, from the previous shows that we've had, previous couple of shows, we have indeed discussed a little bit more about this question. And for today's episode, we will again consider this question at hand. But for today, we will not only, go back and get to discuss what we've previously touched on, but for today, I shall be also adding on to our previous shows. Of course, being able to put weight loss or weight gain, or pretty much looking into how results are with regard to looking at the scale. A lot of people do have that goal in mind, and even despite that, of course, it is not the only number one solution for any type of fitness or health concern that we have, all right? It won't automatically be weight loss or weight gain that will resolve all of our physical the physical changes that we need in terms of our health and fitness. So today, aside from having to look at the scale, having to measure inches, or seeing yourself by taking photos, and also by looking to see how your clothes fit, what are other aspects of progress without having to look at the scale that we can take a look at and be able to see that, okay, I am actually still progressing in my fitness journey, and that I'm not in plateau, and that my training and my eating habits and being able to sleep properly and all that good stuff is on track for me, all right? So that's going to be something that we will be discussing in today's show. And so let's go ahead and start off with something that would probably be very obvious for many of us, especially if you're like me, where you go to the gym and you do a lot of weight training, all right? So in terms of weight training and your fitness and health, one of the many things that you can consider and one of the many things that you can look at to be able to see if you are actually having good progress is for you to be able to, number one, be able to carry a lot more weight than when you began. All right, so that's one thing. Of course, the best way for you to be able to really see the progress that you have is making sure that you take note of every time that you train, okay? If you're not the type who likes to write down or take note of your training routine, how much you've carried from week 1 to your current week of training, Well, this is a sign. This is a very good sign for you to finally kind of change your mind and begin to look at the progress, because it is quite motivating to see how totally different it has been when you began your training as opposed to what you are currently or where you are currently standing at, all right, in terms of your progress. Okay, so that's one thing in terms of if you are engaged in a lot of weight training programs. Okay, aside from being able to carry a lot more weight, maybe another way would be if you like to increase your muscle endurance. Maybe it's not the weight that you're too concerned about if you want to stick to a specific weight, but you are able to repeat that specific weight for more than the number of repetitions that you've done before. Or also, if you are the type who likes to time your training routine and you do weight training, you can also see how much of a change, especially when it comes to how you feel during the times that you do the repetitions, okay? And I am saying how you feel because a lot of times when you start off your fitness journey, especially if you do weight training, sometimes, for the lack of a term, it can be quite excruciating and you feel very sore, you feel like you're quite exhausted very quickly, all right? So those are some of the things that you could look into and consider as well. Of course, again, it is always best to take note of these different types of repetitions that you've had, or maybe again how you felt during the training session. Some people don't normally associate how they feel during training as something that would make a difference in their progress, but I'm telling you right now, if you feel 100% better as compared to your week 1, and let's say you're at week 4 now and you feel great, you have better stamina, you don't go out of breath, that is actually a very good sign already in terms of your progress. All right. So these are some of the simple things that are not needing of how you look physically to be able to indicate if you are already having very good progress in your own training routine. Now, if you are the type of person who isn't really into weight training, another good thing to consider, let's say you are the type who likes to do a lot of cardio training, let's say you do running or sprinting, or maybe even just walking, all right? Again, we go back to that term, or to the initial feeling of how it all began for week 1 when you started off your training routine. So how did you feel during that time when you wanted to finish, let's say, as an example, finishing 1 kilometer when you start day 1 is obviously going to be feeling a lot different than when you do it currently, right? So these are some of the things that you should also be able to take note of and be able to indicate when you set up your training routine. Again, I am a very let's say um for the lack of term, I am very kind of OC when it comes to training routines or taking note of your training program. All right. I don't know if you guys are, but to me, it always is a great way to really look back and see just how differently things have changed for you. All right. I have no clue whatsoever anymore on how many notepads and notebooks I've opened and that I've listed all my programs in. I don't necessarily know anymore where things are, but I have always been quite literally obsessed about writing down all of the progress that I've had, all the weights that I've carried, all of the distances that I've ran or that I've sprinted. I always take note of those because it always is a very great reminder for me that I've done a lot of progress and that I have improved a lot. So yeah, again, guys, if you are the type who isn't really into a lot of resistance training or weight training, it actually doesn't really matter what type of training routine that you have, whether it's for muscular endurance, for cardiovascular health, or just simply being able to move daily. What's important really, especially if you want to take note of your progress, is again taking note of it literally, okay? Whether on your phone or on a literal notebook with a pen and paper, all right? That is already a very good way for you to see progress, okay? And you don't have to necessarily be so frustrated about the weighing scale, all right? Because yeah, that is the issue that we have here, okay? Many people just go bonkers about having to make sure that the scale moves, okay? And it doesn't necessarily mean that if the weight you see on the scale does not improve, quote unquote, or does not change, it does not automatically mean that you are failing your training routine, okay? Go and repeat that and rewind what I just said. But yeah, okay. So another good thing that you could also look into, especially maybe you are the type who likes a lot more mobility training or flexibility training. Let's say you practice yoga or Pilates and some of the other specialized type of training routines. Another quick way for you to also see progress is what? Seeing that you're getting more flexible, you're getting more mobile. These are also a great indication that the progress is there and that change is happening. It may not be in terms of looking at the scale and seeing the change on the scale, but it can be because you are more flexible, you're more mobile, you are able to move a lot better as opposed to before, okay? It's pretty much as simple as being able to finally touch your feet while you're standing up from a standing position and being able to touch your toes, okay? Some people absolutely cannot do that, okay? But if you are able to finally do it after maybe so many weeks that you've been trying to improve on your flexibility, well, then that is a very big Nike check for you guys, as comparing it or making sure that you are being able to progress through your training routine. Okay, guys? So yeah, there are literally a lot of different things that you can look into that have or that will be able to indicate changes that happen in your own fitness journey and also with your health. Okay, so let's say that you started off your fitness journey wanting to improve your stamina, let's say, and the doctor told you, oh, you have to engage in exercise. And just being able to move a lot better, not being able to feel exhausted after maybe 5 or 10 minutes of training. From 5 to 10 minutes, now you can go and train for like 30 minutes or maybe even up to an hour. That in itself already is very good change for you, very good progress. Okay, you don't need the weighing scale to tell you that that is something that has helped you with your fitness and your health. All right, so guys, I hope that through these different examples you are getting a better idea in terms of your fitness journey, in terms of your training routine. All right. Um, just to tell you frankly, if you are still the type of person after these series of episodes, and you are still the person who really is so very much concerned and focused on your weight, I will not take it against you. But yeah, I just hope that you realize that looking at your weight and seeing your weight change, that is not the only thing that will say how healthy and fit you are. Okay, your weight does not define how healthy and how fit you are. All right, so I hope that these past few episodes have been able to help you out, help you get out of the rut, help you not feel so frustrated or anxious, or even maybe lessen your anger about the weighing scale. Okay, so guys, again, thank you so much for joining me in today's episode. If you guys have not been able to subscribe to the channel yet, please take this time to click that subscribe button because it really does help the channel a lot. And if you found this episode very helpful, please do share it with a friend or a family member. And if you can, just click that like button. And yeah, if you have any comments, questions, or other concerns as well, leave those in the comment section below because you never know, I may answer some of your questions in some of the next episodes that will come up. All right, guys. So again, thank you so much for joining me in today's episode. Coach RKaye here, reminding you always to never give up on your movement journey because it's never too late to move. Bye-bye, guys. See you again.